News Now on Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Jen Bernstein.
And I'm Ben Goldman. Breaking news tonight, the toddler who fell out of a third-floor window in Hartford over the weekend has died.
Mayor Luke Bronin speaking out on the incident. Fox 61's Sarah Sanchez joins us from the Breaking News Center with the latest developments on this tragic story. Sarah.
Ben, Jen, the 2-year-old boy's mother is out on bond tonight, and she'll face a judge next week. His mother, 34-year-old Tabitha Frank, is facing 10 counts of risk of injury to a child, 2 counts per child, one for leaving them alone and the other for the deplorable conditions that police found in that home. Police say on Saturday afternoon they were called to a Capitol Avenue apartment. A neighbor called 911 after a 2-year-old boy fell out a 3rd-story window. According to the police report, no adults were home when the incident happened. Police say 5 children under the age of 12 were in the apartment alone. Mayor Luke Bronin says he's keeping the child along with firefighters on scene in his prayers.
Our firefighters respond every day to difficult calls, but I don't think there's anything more difficult than finding a little child who has been so seriously injured and trying so hard to give life-saving aid in response to that kid.
The children's mother is scheduled to face a judge on August 3rd. In the Breaking News Center, Sarah Sanchez, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Sarah, thank you. Just an incredibly tough story. Scan the QR code here on your screen for the latest breaking news developments. It'll bring you to the download page of our free Fox 61 News app. In other news here, Governor Ned Lamont tonight submitting a request for federal agriculture disaster declaration because of severe flooding. This for all 8 counties here in Connecticut. The governor is saying that farms were hit the hardest due to the significant damage to land and crops statewide from the recent heavy rainfall that caused significant flooding, particularly along the Connecticut River and other waterways. 27 farms in the state are estimating losses totaling more than 1,500 acres and nearly $21 million in lost sales revenue.
A big problem with a bigger fix. This year, lawmakers set millions aside to address Hartford's storm system that repeatedly floods in parts of the North End. But before a grant application opens, advocates say they're concerned about transparency and oversight of the last set of money. Fox 61's Samaya Hernandez is in Hartford with more. Samaya.
Right now, the river is receding, but during heavy rains, it can become overwhelmed with sewer and storm water. That water can also get into basements and overwhelm intersections in North Hartford, where advocates say relief isn't coming fast enough.
More than 2 inches of rain in 90 minutes. That was last Friday during the wettest July on record. It's also why advocates say addressing flooding concerns in Hartford's North End needs to be priority.
We can guarantee that North Hartford will be underwater if we don't address these issues.
Lawmakers set aside $100 million for long-term structural upgrades, including $5 million for homes and businesses overwhelmed by flood waters. But the Greater Hartford African American Alliance has questions about an older bucket of money, $500,000 in flood mitigation assistance from 2021.
The experience has not shown that when monies are received, they're actually all spent for what it was that they were allocated.
There are victims who have been denied funding based on the City of Hartford's application process.
The Metropolitan District says it's slated to begin work on several North End streets and expansion of backwater valve projects in late August, early September. Advocates say that's not fast enough.
We want to know why the MDC is moving at a snail's pace.
But Mayor Luke Bronin says you can't repair an old system overnight.
There is no short-term solution to this problem.
At issue, separating merged stormwater and sewer pipes.
And that's going to take years, and it's going to take a whole lot of money.
The State Department of Energy and Environmental Protection says it is expediting oversight and review of these projects coming up. People who have been a victim of flooding here will be eligible for a grant program that's set to open and be managed by the Comptroller's Office. In Hartford, I'm Samaya Hernandez, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Samaya, thank you. Let's get to the Weather Watch here, looking live over Hartford, New Haven, and Mohegan Sun. Summer skies, blue skies, and man, is it hot out there. A severe thunderstorm watch happening in Litchfield County right now, but as far as the rest of the state goes, things are looking pretty good out there. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joining us now with a look ahead at how things are heating up here in Connecticut. Hi, Rach.
Hi. Yeah, the big story this week is really going to be the heat and the humidity. It could feel like triple digits as we head towards the end of the week. But yes, we do have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect just for Litchfield County until 8 p.m. We aren't too concerned about the threat for severe weather there right now. Just looking at the latest radar trends, most of the showers and storms that you see here on the radar are staying well enough to the west or even to the north of us here in Connecticut. I can't rule out an isolated shower or rumble of thunder at some point later tonight, but overall it looks like our severe weather risk is very low at this point. Right now we're looking at temperatures that are in the 80s for most of the state, and it will get even hotter than that in the coming days. The humidity continues to build in tonight. We'll see overnight lows in the 60s to right around 70 degrees. And tomorrow there's a better chance for a scattered shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon. It'll be warm, very humid. We'll keep our eyes to the sky, and then it gets very hot. We're going to take a look at the full forecast coming up.
Thank you, Rachel. Well, new tonight, Governor Lamont announcing an independent review of falsified traffic tickets by state police. According to an audit by the state's Racial Profiling Prohibition Project, in the past decade, hundreds of Connecticut State Police troopers may have falsified nearly 26,000 traffic tickets, making it appear that more white drivers were being pulled over than other ethnicities. Former U.S. Attorney for Connecticut, Deidre Daly, will be investigating. And in Bridgeport, an 8-year-old boy was caught in the crossfire of two shooters last night. It happened in the area of Orchard Street. Police say nearly 20 shots were fired. The boy was grazed in the ear. Officers say he lives in central New York and was visiting family on the east side of the city when that shooting went down. No arrests in this case so far.
Developing news out of East Hartford tonight. Police are nearly 24 hours into a homicide investigation, and there are still more questions out there than answers into this case. It all happened on Burnside Avenue. Fox 61's Matt Karen joining us live at the scene of that killing in East Hartford. Matt, we've learned this homicide happened at a halfway house. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, Ben. That home right behind me, there's several people who live in this multifamily unit. I talked to one of those guys today. He was sitting right on his front porch, and he said he was home when this killing happened. He heard and he saw a lot, but he didn't want to talk to me on camera. We did, however, speak with several other people in this neighborhood who told me that in the past, they've heard fighting and screaming coming from inside.
East Hartford is a very quiet place. You know, nothing really happens here.
But that opinion depends on who you ask.
Just stay safe, stay out of the way. Usually you don't want to hang out in areas like this.
8 p.m. Sunday, gunshots shattered the evening silence, and for some, their sense of security.
I was actually watching Fox this morning when I heard it. It was shocking, alarming.
217 Burnside Ave.
There's like a couple gunshots.
Homicide at the halfway house.
There's different people coming in and out all the time.
Police arrived under the cover of darkness to a gruesome discovery. A man shot dead.
We saw the police, just keep running around.
Daybreak shed light on the scene, but provided few additional clues.
We've been here 11 years, and we never had a problem with people over there. You know, I hired a few to pull weeds every now and then. We got a kid that runs it over there. We get along good with him. So I was surprised.
The building, home to a transient population. A sign reads, "All guests must be registered."
And this is the area that you lock up.
Wandell Rodriguez works in the area. He's had a few close calls on these streets himself and says it's why he packs a sidearm.
Just hope it gets better.
Sandwiched between businesses and the town transfer station, the multifamily dwelling now the latest location on a growing list of senseless community crimes. And it's worth noting that this halfway house is just a 1-minute drive to the police station. It is a heavily patrolled area. And speaking of the East Hartford Police, we've been in close contact with them all day long. Still no word at this hour on the identity of the homicide victim. But as soon as we get it, we will, of course, share it with you. We're live in East Hartford. Matt Karen, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, Matt. Moving now to new details from a deadly crash in Waterbury where a teen was killed. Police have identified the 14-year-old girl's Adriana Mina of Waterbury. Police say she was in a car with 3 other teens when the car was hit at an intersection. Police say 2 of the teens are expected to be okay. A 15-year-old boy is in critical condition. The driver of the other car is expected to be okay, but his passenger, an 18-year-old, has serious injuries.
New Haven police are investigating a shooting where 45 shots were fired. This happened in the area of Sherman Parkway and Bassett Street. Police say shortly after the shooting, a gunshot victim arrived at the hospital for treatment. Police say the victim is expected to survive. An investigation into the shooting is underway.
Tonight, a driver is expected to be okay after losing control of their car and crashing into a power lines transformer in Vernon. It happened at 19 Valerie Drive around 12:30 this afternoon. Power for dozens of Eversource customers was turned off for about 3 hours today. Again, the driver's okay here. Nobody was hurt. Valerie Drive is shut down until the repairs can be made.
Deep is asking for your feedback on changes to the state's so-called bottle bill program. Currently, the state places a 5-cent redemption value on bottles and cans, which customers can get back when they return the containers to collection centers. This month, the state expanded the containers that are covered under the bill. Next year, the redemption amount will go up to 10 cents.
To Plainville tonight, where one local business is saying goodbye to its community. The family-owned 50 West announced on social media that they'll be shutting their doors this Saturday. The restaurant was known for its American comfort food and their handcrafted cocktails. Still to come on the news.